Give a round of applause for Tommy.
Ladies and gentlemen, Tommy Tallarico, the CEO of Intellivision.
I love Skype. They should invest in my company. No, I don't.
How is it to be described as the CEO of Intellivision? Is it?
It sounds like a lot of responsibility that I don't want.
Is it? I mean, the reality clearly is setting in now. You've got a machine to launch this year. Is it what you imagined it was going to be, or is it different, or what about it is news to you?
Well, it's funny, like whenever you start a new venture, whether it's video games live or, a TV show, you have this dream and you're like, I want to make a TV show or whatever. And then it never really sinks in how hard it is and all of the intricacy. Like when you thought of the TV show, you probably weren't thinking to yourself, now, how am I going to upload this show to a satellite? In order to get the, you know what I mean? So it's like you have the dream and you work really hard and you have all these barriers that you encounter, and when you have when you have the confidence that you can get around it, you'll just figure out a way. So yeah, it's we're running into things all the time that are like, holy crap, oh yeah, there's that. How are we going to do that?
Well, you know what I know about that though, and I can, firsthand I know that, but also through watching you for years and years with Video Games Live and getting a lot off the ground, is that becomes part of the mythology, that becomes part of the story. And if it was easy, I think you were the one that was really reinforcing this. Back in the day, you used to say to me, if this was easy, everybody would be doing it. And that was in reference to, what are we looking at here? It was reference to our show, but reference to getting Video Games Live together as well. Have you got somebody in the corner?
There's a secret message somewhere.
No, I'm trying to, I pushed the damn thing on the thing, and now what's going on here? I'm trying to turn this around.
What do you give Skype out of 10, buddy?
What the hell? Turn this bitch around.
This is amazing.
There it is. Okay.
There you're back.
Hey.
Okay. Let's get into the nitty gritty because
of course the joke in hardware is it's called hardware for a reason.
Right. Very good.
Because it's hard.
Let's get into the nitty gritty. Okay. The release date is 10/10/2020. And how much is it going to cost in the U.S. and how much is it going to cost in Canada?
We still don't know that yet. We're still working that out. There's so many things. I mean, I can give you. I'm going to introduce you to some people here.
Okay.
This is my boy Todd.
Does everybody have a barf bag? We're all good? Okay.
Oh, because I'm like going like this all the time. Hey, how you doing? No. So
I wish this was broadcasting on an IMAX side screen.
Just pretend to be VR. But anyway, Todd's title is where the hell is your card? What is your title?
I don't know.
We haven't figured that out yet. Todd makes shit.
Okay.
Todd's our director of making shit.
Okay.
No. So he does a lot of project management.
Mechanical engineering.
A lot of the mechanical engineering. Go through some of the stuff. This is an exclusive. We've never showed anyone any of this stuff before.
Okay.
But so what are you doing here, Todd?
This is a 3D model of the console and the controller. So we've got basically everything is built in CAD, and then we start doing prototypes of that to verify that everything works together, right? So we've actually got some 3D prints over here.
Yeah, show them some of the stuff.
So basically, we after we design it, we go through a testing system where we print everything out, and then we put it together and we test it and make sure it works like we think. And then we do a lot of back and forth with Tommy on how the buttons need to feel, how the disc needs to feel. So it's been fun. But these are our next lineup, so we're going to be putting these together in the next couple days and doing some more testing with our newest control board and the screens and everything. So it's going good.
So stuff isn't fully locked down yet? You're still tweaking and getting that final kind of feel?
Exactly. That's the thing, and that's why I can't tell you. When you say how much is it going to cost, we have a range.
Yep.
And it's funny because at first we're like, oh, let's try to make it around $150, and then and you're like, oh man, we really should do this. Oh my God, it'll really take the quality up a lot higher, but it's going to cost $2 more and then it piles on and piles on. It's like, okay, now the machine's like $199, but oh my gosh, if we were to add this, and we don't want to get like we're not talking like feature creep stuff where it's like we're trying to do too much. We're talking just about the level of quality, like when you put it in your hands, the kind of battery, the kind of screen, the kind of, so it's like, do we want this to be like a lesser expensive, cheaper quality stuff, or do we want it to be like you just open it up and you hold it in your hands and you go, wow, that feeling like when you open your next iPhone, right? And you tear that plastic off the screen and you just feel like you're that wow moment, so that's what we're doing with this. So right now our US price point is going to be anywhere from, it could go 220, 230, 240, where we don't know yet. And this kind of stuff, it always goes down. It's always until we deliver our final BOM, which stands for Bill of Materials, which is literally like, how many components do we have? It's
hundreds. If you include the electrical, we've got hundreds.
Right, literally hundreds of every little damn thing, and every one of those has a price on them, right? So, part of Todd's job is to see, what, we can get this thing for 1 cent less. It's going to save us blah, blah, blah. Or if we reroute something this way, then we're going to, save 3 cents in the long run. So it's a lot of that kind of stuff. We literally have a team of people who, that's what they do all day long, is figure out how can we make the highest quality with the lowest price so that we can pass that on to the consumer.
I know you're working with hardware engineers. Are you also working with people that have shipped a console or helped to market and get a console out into the marketplace?
Totally. And in fact, I don't know if I should say this, but I will anyway. The folks, like even our manufacturing partners, they've done the PlayStation 3, 4, and they're starting up on the 5.
Cool.
And they also did the Wii controllers.
Okay.
So yeah, we got folks who've done it before, and we have people on our team who worked on the Xbox hardware, the PlayStation hardware, and even somebody who worked on the Nintendo stuff, on the Wii specifically.
What you and I both know is that the community is big and it's expansive around the world, but it's also small. It's also easy to connect with people and tap into that expertise. You have a launch date that's coming up quickly, and you're figuring out all the details around that. People want to know about the games and the strategy around the games and how many games will be able to be played day one and then the rollout after that.
Yeah. Remember that great line, because Vic, I know you're a huge fan of Indiana Jones.
Yep.
Raiders of the Lost Ark, of course. Me and you share that in common. And one of my favorite lines from Raiders of the Lost Ark is when Indy finally, he breaks into the tent, he gets Marion out of there, and now they put the Ark onto the truck. And now the truck's going away, right? and Sala, and they turn to him and he says, Indy, now what are we going to do? And the famous, my favorite line from any movie is he goes, I don't know, I'm making this up as we go along. and so a lot of it, and you do that to some extent, like we have 40 games in our pipeline right now, and you get 5 games that are going to be in the system, and we know what those 5 games are. We've only announced one of them, but we know what they are, and we've actually been working on those today. But do we know for sure that we're going to have 40 games on launch? No, because we're not gonna release anything that we feel is not of a certain standard or quality, right? So let's target 40, but if we only get 20, that's still pretty good, and then we'll come out with a new game every 10 to 14 days, right?
And
so there's always a plethora of stuff in there. So that's kind of where we're doing. But in regards to manufacturing now, I mean, the world happens, right? I mean, this whole coronavirus thing right now is screwing up everyone, by the way, including Sony and Microsoft, right? So
dude, I have a story about that too, because we used to shoot on Blu-ray discs with we used to shoot our show on XD-Cam, and the first iterations of XD-Cam were little Blu-ray discs, and I think an earthquake or something happened, and there was a shortage of the media, and then it skyrocketed in price, and it affected our budget. So I know exactly what you're going through. Yeah.
And the kind of the unknown at this point to every electronics, anything, whether it's TVs, PlayStations,
iPhones,
or whatever, is that right now the Chinese government has extended the Chinese New Year by 2 weeks, right? So typically, the whole country of China shuts down in February.
Right.
So now they've added 2 weeks to that. So anyone who's thinking about manufacturing now has to slide out to March 15th, right?
Right.
We are targeted to go into manufacturing sometime in April. So we're finishing up like the final hardware elements right now. But once you finish that up, and then you create the dev kits, and we're doing 100 dev kits right now. Once that's done, then you have to test the hell out of it for like at least 2 months, and you hire outside contractors, and you hire a whole bunch of, there's a whole bunch of, somebody's like I can show you back here. We have like battery testers. Like
I wish the guys that ran the Iowa caucus knew about testing stuff before they launched it.
Well, it's the DNC getting those apps going. I don't know. Maybe we could have wrote them an Amico thing.
Voting on Amicos. So is Intellivision going to publish every one of the Intellivision games, or are you going to let there's your shirt. Is Activision going to publish stuff, and EA? Like, what are your plans around that?
So we're getting their licenses, but they're not actually doing the work.
Okay.
We're handpicking, some of the best developers in the world and some great indie folks. So we go out and we'll get the license to, Centipede or Breakout or whatever, so we'll get the license from Atari or from Konami or Capcom or whatever it is, right? We get the license, like Moon Patrol, Burger Time. We'll get those licenses, and then we handpick the people to create it for us under our direction, and then we get sign off from those publishers. So we're, in essence, every game is a first-party game. If you think about Nintendo, what are all the greatest Nintendo games? They're the ones that are made by Nintendo, the first-party games, right? Yeah. Look what happened with the Wii. All of the great games made for the Wii were made by Nintendo, and everything else was pretty much shovelware, And so we're kind of taking the approach of every single thing that we do is treated like first party. So we give our resources. We were just having a meeting right here where, we're helping the developers. Of course, we give them audio. I'm doing a lot of the audio design and audio direction, but I do that on the weekends. But like our art designer, our art director, you remember Mike Dietz from Earthworm Jim?
Yes.
I'm gonna invade Mike's world right now.
Mike.
There's Mike.
How's it going?
Mike Dietz. You remember Victor from Electric Playground?
How's it going, pal?
Good. Yeah.
Good to see you. We're live at the VFS Cafe in Vancouver at 390 West Hastings. So this is the guy that did art and animation and worked with Disney animators, not just on Earthworm Jim, but also did a lot of work on Aladdin as well. And Cool Spot, part of the Virgin team that went off and joined up with Shiny Entertainment back in the day.
Many years ago.
And
Yes.
then also Arma Krog, and he worked with Doug TenNapel on the Neverhood and claymation stuff. So
That's awesome.
yeah, so I knew when I started in television, me and Dave Perry said we gotta go get Mikey, and so here we are reunited. The very first game that me and Mike ever worked on together was in early 1990 or 91 was Monopoly. 91 was Monopoly for DOS.
Wow.
And so I did the audio, Mike did the art, and the programmer was this guy here.
How's it going?
was John Alvarado.
How's it
John
going?
worked at Virgin with us way back when, but also worked on big games like Bard's Tale and Line Rider for Brian Fargo, In Exile, Wasteland,
Right
Wasteland 2. So again, and John's our software technical director. Did I get that right?
Yes.
I got that right. So
That's
I always
awesome.
messed up his title, but then I'm like software technical director. Wait a second, I can remember that. STD. Anyway, so. But,
Dude, I have to stop you for a couple things. I want to say that isn't this like an EP segment from the 90s? But it's live, and Tommy's doing the camera work and the hosting, which is blowing my freaking mind because there used to be a guy with a beta cam following Tommy around doing all this stuff, and I'd be behind the camera. Now he's just holding a phone in his hand shooting it. This is blowing my mind. But the other thing, and I think we should stop here to talk about this, is the reason why you're doing this, because I know some of the folks here don't even know what the Intellivision Amico is. A lot of people do, a lot of people don't. So tell us a little bit about why, and then also the fact that you're working with people with all of this experience and their reasons why they want to be involved with something like this.
Yeah, for sure. In fact, let me go back to John here because he's got a good answer to this, which is so John, why did you leave great things to come here?
Right. Well, when I heard Tommy's announcement about the Amico and the mission of the Amico to bring back family gaming and get people playing together again, kids playing with their parents, kids playing with their friends in the same room and having that social interaction that we remember as kids playing these console games, that just hit me right in the heart, because I feel like kids these days, gaming is isolating them, and they're playing in dark rooms with the headphones on, and they're playing with other people, but they're just by themselves and they're alone. And I feel like it's created this sort of rift between parents and kids as well, because the kids are off alone in the room wanting to do their thing, and the parents, they're not interacting with the parents, they're not doing activities with the parents. And board games have kind of started to fill that gap and are increasing in popularity. But
Right.
I'd like to see video games become an activity that parents do with their kids, and that kids and grandparents do together, and kids with their neighbors, come over to one guy's house and play games together. That's the kind of childhood that we grew up with, and I think it was extremely valuable. And I think that this is going to improve the world for the better. Just having that sort of social interaction and those experiences together is going to make for better people, essentially.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I was really excited about it.
And
And
I would
that-
imagine on the other side, like you want people to play like that, but I think it must feel like going home a bit for you guys that have been in the business for a while to develop like that. Because when I see this space on screen here, it looks like a lot of the studios that I used to go and visit when we started Electric Playground. It was, much more about like, we've got a crazy dream and let's just get together with friends and try to make it happen. And it feels like that's kind of what you're building again.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that was also part of the attraction for me, is getting to work with Tommy again and Mike Dietz, the people that I grew up in the industry with, and that we did great things together because we had so much excitement and passion when we started in this business, and we still have it because we're still in the business. And to work with that type of person again, that group of people, was just an amazing opportunity.
Yeah, it's magic. It is magic that happens. Here, I'm going to invade this meeting.
I got a quick question from Quick Fingers 818. Thank you so much for the super chat. He says, would it be possible through a future upgrade to connect a traditional gamepad for us hardcore gamers who want to play Earthworm Jim on the Amico?
Say that one more time. Is it
Wants to
what?
know if you can connect a control, like a traditional game, like a traditional controller to play a game like Earthworm Jim on the Amico, to play it like the classics.
I mean, we have Bluetooth and Wi-Fi that you
Yep.
could connect those controllers up to. But really, all of the games that we're making are based around our controller. And I know it's hard for somebody to look at our controller and go, well, how the hell am I going to play Call of Duty on that? Or how the hell am I going to play Fortnite on that dumbass thing? And so,
Hey, Bill.
And they say, oh, Bill, right?
Yeah, yep.
Bill?
I don't see any face.
I know,
What is this?
it's Victor Lucas from
Victor, hi, Victor. Yeah, I figured it was Victor, but I only see half of Victor. Victor, you're literally cut off at your ear. I don't see any of you.
Right.
That's all. It's all good.
But,
It's okay, thanks.
But I was going to say, I'm looking at this stuff and I was like, oh shoot, we got stuff on the board we shouldn't be showing.
That's freeze framed for sure.
But anyway, so the look, don't show that. Okay. But say hi to the world.
Hello.
There you
Hello.
go. So yeah, we're actually talking about. Oh, so to answer your question, the games that we're making are being made for our controller.
Right.
So you would be able to hook up an Xbox controller or whatever, but you wouldn't want to. And I know that sounds like that sounds like weird, but when you see the way the games play and how they play, you'll want to play them with the thing, because there's certain things that we haven't revealed yet about our controller and about the way mobile devices work within the machine. We'll be revealing it at E3 this year.
Is there anything about this, because it's so different from every other part of the video game industry? Is there anything that you're nervous about, that you're putting all of these different pieces together that aren't being done? Like, there's no other system like this that you can kind of point at. Even the Atari VCS is really about from what they've told us, is really about just playing games the way we are already familiar with. This is not. This is totally unique, and it's a closed system.
I don't think there's nervousness. I think there's more excitement than anything, because we're playing this stuff, and the game design ideas that are coming out of this because of our controller, because of the way we're utilizing couch co-op, and everybody has a screen, and you have colors, and you have RFID and speakers and microphones. The stuff that we're doing in our game designs are so unique, and it's very exciting. So yeah, it's not really nervousness as much, because we know that when people get this in their hands and they start playing it, they'll be like, oh my God, I'm not going to be able to play a video game if I don't have a screen on my controller now. So.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's definitely the case, because I think the real thing here is we're very excited about the new things that we're doing and the new ways we're doing things, which is not what other people are doing. And we have never had a case where we're like, oh yeah, well, this game is going to completely suck on our controller. It's just never going to work. We're going to hate life. That's never been the case. And so we're not worried about that being the case. We're looking at all the games and, oh yeah, this is totally playable. It's instantly easy to use. And so we're more worried about how much fun we can make it and how much we can leverage the new things that our controller does that nobody else does, which are at least half a dozen things that our controller is not like the others, and we think in ways better. We had just had a meeting today where we were talking about that.
So I have something.
And for those that don't know, Bill was at Intellivision the first time. He's been making games with Intellivision since the 1980s.
1981.
Amazing.
1981.
Amazing.
B-17 bomber. Right here, baby.
Oh, that's so great. I have one more question, and then does anybody else in the audience have a question?
I want to show you something. Before you get to that question, I want to show you something that we've never shown the world right now.
All right, do it.
This is going to be this is going to be a secret thing that everyone's going to get with Amico. One of these.
What the hell is that?
Robot.
A destroyed chair.
That we're announcing at E3. Everybody gets their own robotic chair.
Okay, fantastic. Hey, Tommy, the question that I have is, when are we going to get hands-on time? And when, and you can let everybody here know at 390 West Hastings in Vancouver, when are you coming to the VFS Cafe with Amicos to let people play live on stage, and we can all talk about it?
Yeah, no, it's a great idea. We definitely got to do that. So we're the first time the general public will be able to get their hands on will be at E3 this year.
Okay.
So on the floor with devices, people playing this and that. So yeah, let's do a special story, let's do a special trip up there, and do it, and we'll get some folks, like you said. Let's have a big event where you're at, and have people come in and play it and give us feedback. That'd be great.
That would be amazing. Maybe we can get some of the developers to come and talk about their games and stuff too. I would love that.
Look at this stuff. Look at this stuff, Vic. Like, this is just like the back end. This is just kind of the stuff that, you know, that's being made. Oh, look, an Apple II. That's
our Apple IIc.
That's an Apple IIc. That's what I had growing up, dude. I mean, we used to crack those games. Like, I probably shouldn't say that. I cracked your games, probably. What game did you do for the Apple II?
I worked on Burger Time and Lock and Chase and Night Stalker.
Yeah, okay, I cracked your games. Okay, I'm out of here.
This is amazing. Brother, we got to get going because we've got another segment and a screening to get to. But I'm going to contact you guys again soon. Mike, good to see you. Thank you for taking us on a tour of Intellivision. Good luck with all the stuff that's happening. Well, not just for you guys, but for the world in China. And we'll check in soon, and I can't wait to play these games, man. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll do this. We should do this once a month.
Sounds great. And congrats on the early sales that you did. You sold 2,600 Intellivision Amicos, and they sold out in a few hours.
We sold 2,600 Founders Editions in under 5 hours. It was unbelievable. Couldn't have gone better. And yes, for everyone, go to IntellivisionAmico.com. Please sign up to our mailing list. We're on Facebook and Twitter all the time too. But Intellivision Amico, and that's our big thing, right? Together again. That's awesome. We got the Running Man family here.
I can't believe we can do an EP segment live on location from a cafe. It's just blowing my mind like crazy. It's good to see your face.
Let's do this every couple of weeks.
I'd love to get you back on soon, brother. Best of luck with everything. Love you too, pal. Talk to you soon.